Again, I'm very sorry for the downgraded quality of this review, as I'm trying to do the best as I can to get this review out for the X5. So, let's talk about the exterior first and its headlights. So, here we have BMW's Xenon headlights. They're by Xenon and they do corner when you turn the wheel. You do have an LED turn signal right here, which does help its stylish format. Now down below the fascia here, we do have a fog light, which is a halogen of course, and whenever you do turn the steering wheel, one of the fog lights do come on separately, which I find pretty amusing. And here you do have this fake vent, which looks okay for trim purposes, but the whole front end of the car does look pretty composed, lean, muscular, and traditional BMW style. Now if you're wondering what's under the hood of the X5, it's BMW's N55 engine with a dual scroll turbo. It says twin power turbo, but that means that it's a turbo for the lower RPM and one for the higher RPM. 0 to 60 claims about low 6s. Car and Driver claim 6, some claim 6.3, but it's definitely around that range. The gas mileage isn't exactly the most generous, with 16 in the city and 23 in the highway, about 19 combined. And you do get great performance at 300 horsepower and 300 foot-pounds of torque. This is a great handling SUV, and it comes with a great powertrain as well. Now, as this is the premium trim level, you do have a bigger dimensions of wheel standard. So you have 255 wrap tires in 19-inch wheels. As you can see, these are not the OEM rims, but we do have them on stock, which I will show you right here on screen. Now, this car originally came with the Goodyear Eagles, and let's be honest, they rode terribly until we switched them to the Bridgestone Alenza run flat tires, which we have now, and even the new X5s are using this setup. And I highly recommend it. The ride gets much more composed, and it just still feels firm, but in a way it feels much more composed and less harsh compared to the old tires. Now, if you do get the M Sport package, you will have a staggered setup, meaning you have a different dimension in the rear. In the M Sport package, you do get a 315 size. Now, continuing along this side, you do have LED turn signal indicators, as well as your XDrive35i badging. XDrive is BMW's all-wheel drive system, and on the X5, it does have a 40-60 bias, meaning 60% of the rear wheels in normal situations gets the power. Along the side, you have running boards that aren't really that necessary, and if you're wondering, the exterior color of this X5 is jet black. So let's continue on to the rear profile. Across the rear of the X5, you do have this X5 and BMW badging, which has been here in this area until the G05 X5. And you also have this beautiful LED light design with this incandescent turn signal. Further down, you do have rear parking sensors, and you also get parking sensors in the front as well. Also with dual chrome exhaust tips. So since our X5 has the third row, we have a feature called self-adjusting suspension, which means that it uses sensors to detect if any heavy cargo is in the rear, and it won't do kind of a Carolina squat, if you know what I mean. If you've seen the video on James May trying to put a Albanian man in a Rolls Royce trunk, then you kind of get what I mean. It kind of works in that sense, trying to lift the car up and looking as balanced as possible. It detects sensors, has sensors detecting whether if the car is getting lowered or not. Electric power folding mirrors are also in the X5, standard as well. Lastly, whenever you do unlock the vehicle, you do have something called BMW's pathway lighting, which does help your path at night. So, now that we've moved on from the exterior, let's talk about the interior of this X5. So here we have the typical 2000s, 2010s BMW key fob with unlock, lock, and trunk. If you want to have a panic, then lock and then hold trunk down. Now this also has BMW's comfort access system, which if you hold this notch on the top, then it will lock the vehicle. And if you put your hand behind the door handle, a heat sensor will detect your hand and you can unlock the vehicle. Yeah, very solid feeling doors as well. So looking at our materials, they are pretty nice of class, especially for the time. And not to mention, this was the last model year of the E70 Generation X5. So soft touch along the top, as well as a satin silver finish along the door handle, and this piece right here, with a dark bamboo trim going throughout the whole cabin, as you see here. Here we have this nice leather, which is Nevada leather specifically, and this beautiful stitching that goes through here. I wouldn't call it beautiful, but it does the job nice. Also your window switches and switch gear, which is typical BMW, and a soft touch down below with a pretty generous amount of space in the door panel. Now, I don't know if you can see it very well, but here are your seat adjustments. They are 14-way adjustable with 4-way lumbar support right here and a 2-person memory setting. Again, this interior is the Nevada leather interior, which means this does have the real leather. Again, very solid feeling doors. So, why don't we start up the X5? To do that, you just have to put your foot on the brake. Now, since this does have the comfort access keyless entry, you don't need to put your key in, but you can if you want to charge the key. All you have to do is put your foot on the brake and push the button right here to start. The N55 engine in this vehicle does sound really good. So let's talk about the switchgear in this vehicle. Your window controls are all automatic here, and your mirror adjustments along with your power folding mirrors are here as well. Here we have our headlight controls, our parking lamps, our automatic headlamps, as well as our fog lamps. Here we have our turn signals and our gauge controls. Not really configurable, but you can just see your basic information. Over on the right, we do have your wipers with automatic wiper as well. Here we have our volume controls with voice command, as well as our climate controls and our tuning function. Not to mention this really tight hydraulic power steering, which BMWs just don't have anymore since they switched to this electric steering rack. Again, very easy to read gauges. So here's your simple iDrive system. You have your multimedia right here, and you can connect your phone or a DVD to it as well. Your audio here, you have the basic 10-speaker hi-fi system, or you could have got a more premium hi-fi system for $1,200 at the time, or a Hologic 7 sound system. So why don't we listen to that right now?
Tony and Emmy. Hudson won her Oscar.
So, I'm not gonna lie, even if it's the basic system, still sounds really well, has a good clarity and bass to it that it provides. Now, this car particularly has the convenience package, which gives it this 8.8-inch infotainment system. If you don't have that, then you just have a smaller infotainment system without your navigation or maps of any sort. You also have your vehicle information right here, which was your vehicle status, and it will tell you your next services and stuff. And your settings, which you can adjust for pretty much any setting in the car. Your navigation's right here. Navigation is right here, and it does show real-time traffic information in your map. And the graphics may look a little old, but it does the job just fine. And yeah, that's pretty much your iDrive system. Not much to say anymore since it's an older system, but again, it does the job just fine. Here you have your dual zone climate control system here. with your front and rear defrost, as long as heated seats as well. And with this button, you can adjust your zones on the infotainment screen. And here's your volume controls right here, CD player. And if you slide this right here, with Rolls-Royce, you have like a sliding kind of sensor. A cubby here with a cigarette lighter and a cup holders. Your iDrive rotary selector, as well as center console, and this button-looking glove box, which doesn't really provide much space at all. And there's an option where you could get a DVD in there in the M car, I think, and it's, you know, kind of stupid. Compass, as well as your home link, and a panoramic roof right here, and your dome lighting, which does provide a great view. Now shifting the car into reverse, you do have a rear view camera with parking sensors and line trajectory. Drive and sport, as long with manual shiftability. If you had an M Sport package, you can have paddle shifters and shift it manually. Along with that, you have your parking brake as well as your auto hold feature. And I think this wraps up for the front. And why don't we go ahead and check out the rear of the car. As a person that's 5'5", it's not as big as Mercedes-Benz or Audi back here, but it does the job just fine. Unlike the new X5, you can slide and recline your seats. Here you have your climate control system right here in the back, which is crap. So in the rear of the X5, it's not the most roomiest compared to Benz or Audi, but it does the job just fine for longer trips. So unlike the new X5, you can actually slide and recline the seats. And here you have your dual zone climate control system. And if you did have the cold weather package, you do have heated seats. You have some cigarette style outlets right here. And since it was a $250 option before, rear manual sunshades. Again, the quality does not lack in the rear of the X5 either. Cup holders. Again, if you had a cold weather package, it would be much bigger armrest with storage, I think. And the cup holders would actually come from the headrest, which is a bit weird. Overall, the rear of the X5 is a pretty nice place to sit in. Let's look at the trunk space. So in the rear of the X5, the first half is automatically operated, and the manual clamshell is adopted from Land Rover's car. So as you can see, you do have a decent amount of room. I'm sorry if this review is not so detailed. I'm actually kind of rushing it right now. And you do have your third row stowed, as you can see right there. And this car actually has 5-zone climate control. You actually have aircon in the back there too. And it's only good for little kids. Underfloor storage right here. And yeah, not much to say. Does has a decent amount of room, and it will do the job just fine for your belongings. Again, you have to manually close this and close it firmly, because if you don't, then this upper part won't actually close. This tailgate's great for sitting down. And you may be wondering, what's next with this X5? Well, this car actually is already traded in at the dealership by the time that you've seen this video. And we have already purchased a new vehicle as a replacement for this car. Now, I love this car, guys. Let me get you straight. I wish that we could have it for longer, and it's just a great car. And if anyone's considering looking at one of these, make sure you consider one. A well-maintained one. Probably not a V8 either, but you get the picture. And I just hope that the next owner who owns this vehicle will have a great time as much as we did. Heck, I still even remember looking at this car and purchasing it around July of 2015. And it's been a great blast. having to own this car and just, yeah, having the memories with it. But, you know, I'm just a storyteller. And this whole car is the author. And this is gonna be the final chapter of this vehicle here. Probably not in the state, but just final chapter with us. And we're gonna be starting a new chapter with a new vehicle. And I really hope you do enjoy this new vehicle we are purchasing. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the X5 as much I did on our channel. And yeah, thank you for watching. Turbo here. Goodbye.